We are gonna pick some dinner. Look at this massive squash plant right here. It is incredibly showy with all of this foliage, but I'm not seeing any fruit on it. It has a bunch of flowers. They look like they're mostly male right now, but it is about to block my entire path out here. It's crazy. It's almost into this garden area. So tonight, I'm feeling like tomatoes and eggplants, and I know I've got some out here that are ripe. So we are gonna get some beautiful cherry tomatoes as well as some of the Asian eggplants, the long skinny ones, and we're gonna make an amazing pasta dish. So let's get to harvesting. Kind of a jungle getting in here. These cherry tomato plants are so big, they produce so much, and they just have so many stems. I did not do a single leader stem method this year. Gorgeous. And in here we've got Barry's Crazy Cherry, which just has tons of tomatoes on each cluster, some of which are ready to go. This is what it's all about. True seasonal eating straight from the garden. You can't beat that. I mean, that is just so many tomatoes on a single cluster. It was a nice warm day, about 80 degrees today. It's evening now. So these should be tasty. They didn't get watered today. It rained yesterday, but not today. We got enough for dinner. Now we need some eggplants. And this little guy is just dripping with them. Look at that, one plant. So we are gonna help him out, and maybe he will set some more flowers to put on some more fruit. Got another one right here. I almost missed this guy. This is a different variety. I think this is a ping tung versus the Chinese string, the long one. We've got some nice eggplants coming on this one too. Not quite ready yet, but there's a few on here. This is either the Oswald. I think it's the Oswald. Let's see. Yes, the Oswald. One of my favorites. There's one hiding on this plant too. These are just my favorites. These skinnier ones, they're so, so good. Not a bad little yield. This will make a tasty dinner. Let's go in and start cooking. You coming in or out? We don't need to worry too much about washing these because we know that they weren't sprayed with any chemicals or pesticides, but we'll just give them a quick rinse. And that's one of the nice things about growing your own food. You know for sure what it has been exposed to. And while there might have been, bugs on here and pollinators on here, that's okay by me. Just give it a quick rinse, and then we can get to cooking. But these look so good. If you had these, they're amazing. They are so incredibly flavorful and sweet. The Chinese string, these longer, skinnier ones, they are my favorite. But I love all eggplants. And we'll just run the tomatoes in here really quick, take the greens off the tops. So I'm gonna start, but well, it looks like this one got split. We did get quite a bit of rain yesterday. Bummer. I'm gonna start by roasting the eggplant. We're gonna do that for about 30 minutes. Maybe a little bit less time than that, because they are small, but we'll see. Somewhere around 30 minutes. And then we're gonna pop these tomatoes and some onions in the oven with them and let them go for a little bit longer while we cook some pasta. And this is going to be just a beautiful, light, summery, seasonal topping for our pasta. It's going to be delicious. I love the colors of summer. It just looks so pretty, so inviting. You know, we eat with our eyes as much as with our stomachs, and so this really hits the spot for me. I need a sheet pan. And I'm gonna put a little foil on here just so that we don't have to scrub and scrub and scrub. Because in the oven, the sugars in the food, they are gonna caramelize. So it's gonna brown the food, and with the natural juices that get released from it, plus the oil that we're gonna put on top of it, it could make for a mess on the bottom of the pan without foil. Or parchment paper, or something like that. So I'm gonna get the oven preheated. I think I'm gonna do this at 375. So we'll start warming it up to that. And now we're gonna get these eggplants cut down. How I like to do these eggplants is I just cut the tops off, and those can get composted. And I'm gonna slice these into rounds. I want them kind of bite size, but they should break down and get nice and soft. So if they're a little on the larger size, that should be okay too. But maybe 1/2 inch rounds. I'm doing a little bit on a diagonal. I just tend to do that. Last year I showed how to make my absolute favorite dish, eggplant side dish, using these types of eggplants, and that is another roasted recipe, but you put fennel seed in and vinegar at the end, and oh my goodness, it is so, so good. But I wanted kind of a main meal tonight using eggplants, and since I do have my very first tomatoes ready, I'm excited. I haven't even had a tomato yet this year, not one. So I am really excited to be pairing these two together for a yummy dinner. Eggplants are a really healthy food. They can also sub for meat. If you're on a diet, they have low calories, low carbs. They're full of antioxidants. They've got anthocyanins in them as well as polyphenols. They're anti-inflammatory in the brain. They help improve blood flow. They also protect your heart. And the anthocyanins in eggplant prevent your LDL, or your bad cholesterol, from oxidizing. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I can smell the sweetness on these already. There's nothing like just picked, homegrown eggplant. And I was not one to like eggplant growing up. I don't think I was served eggplant growing up. And So I never bought it at the grocery store. It wasn't until, I think I was at a restaurant once and I think I tried eggplant parm, and just that creamy flesh, once it's been cooked, that got me hooked. And once I started growing eggplant, the first year I grew it in the large pots that I now have my herbs in, and oh my goodness, I was swimming in eggplants. I mean, I was getting probably this much every single day, plus globes at the same time. So I had to figure out a whole lot more eggplant dishes than eggplant parm. It's wonderful to have it as a dip. I love having freeze-dried eggplant on hand because you can turn that into a nice little side dish or dip at any time. Okay, now that these are cut down, we are just going to put them on their roasting pan. Got my skillet here still from earlier. I made dog food today and I let the pan dry on the heat of the stove, but it's definitely time to put it away. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it for this dish or not, but I don't think I am. Okay, so we're going to just spread this out fairly evenly, and then we're going to drizzle it with some olive oil, some salt, and some pepper. And I'm going to check it after, I think, 20 minutes in the oven, because they are smaller eggplants. They may not need 30 minutes. All right, this looks great. That looks fantastic. Purple food, love it. I just realized I hadn't even put on my apron yet, and I'm about to use some oil, so I know that I'm gonna get dirty. So we'll put this on. Do you wear an apron in the kitchen? I find it essential. I'm usually pretty messy, and I'm usually wearing darker clothes, so I tend to get messy. Okay, so we just need to set those aside for a minute. Drizzle the top of these with olive oil. I'm gonna use my hands to kind of massage that in as well. Whew, there we go. I'm generously putting oil on here, and then I'm just gonna massage it. That looks fantastic. So excited about this. And then we just need a little bit of salt and pepper. So I've got the pepper here. I'm just gonna do a light sprinkle. I like seasoning, my family likes seasoning. Seasonings are always to taste. And a little bit of salt. And as soon as our oven is at temp, which it almost is, we can go ahead and slide these in. In the meantime, I'm gonna get a pot of water started on the stove so we can cook some pasta. I'm gonna pair this with angel hair pasta today. Angel hair pasta is just super, super thin. I thought that that sounded perfect to pair with such a light sauce. And I find that if you start with hot water, your water boils a whole lot faster. And since it's going to take probably about 10 minutes for this water to come up to a boil, plus about probably 7 or 8 minutes to get al dente pasta, the food should be done in the oven. Same time this is done on the stove. And actually I am going to use that cast iron because we're going to marry everything together in a pot with some tomato sauce and I think some butter as well when the roasted vegetables come out of the oven. That should be good. And our oven just dinged. So we can go ahead and get this popped in. I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. And we're going to get the stove turned on to get the water heated up. And this one burner here does not auto light anymore, so I have to light it myself. Now we're not going to do anything to the tomatoes at all. We're just gonna put them on the roasting pan once the eggplants are almost done. So we'll keep those set aside, but I am gonna cut up an onion. We're gonna add that. These yellow onions are sweet to begin with, but once they're roasted, they're even sweeter. I think that this is gonna pair just beautifully. I love these onions. I don't want big chunks of onion, and I'm not going to be blending this. So I think I'm gonna dice them. We had a little bit of core in here that had some skin on it. I've not seen that before. Tiny bit right here. That's interesting. I have not seen that before. I'm just gonna cut that tip off. They'll go on the pan with the cherry tomatoes and the eggplant. I was gonna say we can go ahead and get them sauteed, but we are gonna roast them. That's just gonna really bring the lovely flavor out of this onion. Onions are ready to go, tomatoes are ready to go. So we're just now waiting for the water to boil so we can put our pasta in. And that only takes, 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I haven't cooked angel hair pasta in forever, so about half the cooking time because of how thin it is. I can't wait to try one of these tomatoes. And I'm gonna try one of the yellow ones first, the Berries Crazy Cherries. I can anticipate that pop in my mouth and that explosion of flavor. Oh my goodness, those are so incredibly sweet. Oh, I just want to sit here and eat a bowl of tomatoes, but I don't have all that many, so I can't. We have to serve this with dinner. Tomatoes are filled with antioxidants. They have beta carotene, they have lycopene, they have vitamin C, so they're really, really good at keeping you healthy. Lycopene has actually been shown to maybe help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's when you're older, so load up on these babies when you're younger. They also help reduce your risk of heart disease as well as type 2 diabetes. So a lovely kitchen companion to cook with. Onions are right there with your tomatoes in terms of overall health, also loaded with antioxidants. They are really rich in vitamin C. They offer metabolic support, red blood cell protection, and they support nerve function. And they also have potassium in them, which is important for fluid balance in your body, nerve function, kidney function, and muscle contractions, which is why potassium is found in a lot of electrolyte drinks. So this is such a healthy dinner, but to boot, it's just going to be absolutely delicious. I think, I'm just making this up as I go, but this sounds good to me, and I just want to eat another tomato. These are so tasty. Our timer is going off, so we can check this. Oh, that looks good. We can definitely add the other ingredients on here now. It's starting to brown. I can see that the flesh is getting creamy and soft, so this looks fantastic. I'm just going to put the tomatoes right on top. Actually, I'm going to do the onions first, give them a little protection with the tomatoes. And I know this is a lot of onion, but believe me, they're going to be sweet, especially paired with the sweet eggplant and these sweet tomatoes. It's going to be delicious. I'm going to add just a little bit more olive oil so the onions have some protection in here. And then just pop this on. I'm debating whether or not I want to cut the larger red ones in half because these are more like a saladette size, but I think that they'll burst and be lovely just as they are, so I'm going to leave them be. And we can give our I forgot some onions. I don't know how that happened. And we'll check our pasta here also. I'm not gonna add any more seasoning to this pan because we're gonna put it in the skillet when we're done. Get things kind of saucy. So if it needs more seasoning, I'll add it then. Oh yeah, this looks soft already. Wow, that cooks so quick. And how I test my pasta is I just chew it. Almost. Maybe another minute. All right, let's check this. Oh my goodness, it smells so good in here already. I can already smell those onions and tomatoes. Perfect. It's got just the right amount of toothiness to it. So you feel like you're chewing on something and it's not mush. It's perfect. And we'll get that drained through a fine mesh colander strainer. We'll just let it sit for a minute, just to lose most of its water while we wait for the vegetables to finish. For the sauce, I'm gonna try using some of my tomato powder. So I've got a cup of water here, and I'm gonna start with like 2 tablespoons. And we're just gonna let this hydrate for a minute. We've got a minute left on the timer before I wanna check the oven again. I might want to add a whole lot more to this. We'll see. Like I said, I'm kind of making this up as I go. Let me test for flavor. Yeah, it's very weak, so we definitely need more. I'm just going to pour some in. A whole lot more in. Let's see how we're doing. That has more flavor. That's good. I'll probably add just a little bit more, but we're getting there. These are not ready. I'm going to give them another 5 minutes. I'm going to bump this up to 400. Okay. And that gives us time to work on this sauce. I'm going to put it on just a little bit more powder. So this is probably a 2-to-1 ratio at this point, 2 parts of water to 1 part of tomato powder. I have so much tomato powder saved from years of preserving tomatoes that I really do try to remember now to use it as often as I can and just get creative with it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this skillet on. I'm gonna go low. And I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of butter in here to start. And I took a puck of garlic out of my freezer that I had preserved last year. And it's about a teaspoon or so of garlic, and I'm gonna add that into here once that butter melts down, and then we're gonna pour this sauce in there, and then we're gonna decide what spices or herbs we want to add. The roasted vegetables is going to add a whole lot of flavor to the sauce as well. So we shouldn't have to doctor it up too much. This pan pretty much lives on my stove. I think I use it literally every single day. It is my absolute favorite cooking pan. And then we're gonna get that garlic, which defrosted so quick. I only had this out of the freezer for the last 10 minutes or so. So this is garlic that I pureed last year and then froze. I think I did a video on it. I froze it in little pucks and wrapped each puck individually in some parchment paper. And now I can just pull out garlic whenever I want to add it to a dish without wanting to peel or chop garlic. So easy. And now I'm going to pour the sauce in here. Don't want it to burn, so I'm keeping it moving. Some areas of the pan are hotter than others. That looks great. And there's my timer to check those. Tomatoes are definitely not ready, but we're getting there. I'm going to turn this way down. Actually, I'm going to turn it off. I think that it married together well. And when that cools down just a little bit, I'm going to give that a taste. Definitely needs salt and herbs. And I'll throw some pepper in there as well. I'm going to wait to add the herbs until everything is together because I don't want to overcook the herbs. I decided to throw in another tablespoon of butter. And I turned the stove back on just to melt that butter. That is looking pretty good. Let's give this a try. Keep 1 spoon clean for taste testing and 1 spoon for taste testing. Let's see. That is good. I think I'm going to add red pepper flake in here. Definitely some parsley and a little bit of oregano. And I think that's going to just hit the spot. I think our vegetables are done, so I'm going to get them out of the oven. It's been about 40 minutes in all. And those look amazing. Oh, smells so good. And actually the red tomatoes, they burst before the yellow ones started to. And in fact, not all of the yellow ones have, but if you give them just a little nudge, they do. So they're nice and soft. And we did not get a lot of juice in this pan, so I did bring down a tomato product. And it's one that I canned in 2022, actually. It is a sweet curry tomato sauce. I know onions and tomatoes go really good with curry, and I bet you eggplant does also. So we're gonna give that a try. I'm gonna open the jar and taste it though, just to be sure before I add it into the pan. Oh, so much goodness here. Yummy. Definitely have caramelization going on with the eggplants. Oh, this is gonna be so tasty and so good for you. A garden dinner. I love that about this time of the year where you can just go to your backyard grocery store and gather up any of the ingredients that sound good to you for whatever it is you are inspired to make that day. So simple and so yummy. Let me get this stirred around, put in the seasonings, give it a taste, and then we're gonna mix in some of that angel hair pasta. I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of parsley. That freshness from freeze-dried parsley. Gorgeous. That pop of green really does make that look incredible. And a little bit of oregano. my red pepper flake, because I like heat. I can turn the oven off, forgot to do that. And I'm going to drizzle just a little bit more olive oil in here, maybe 2 tablespoons. And we'll get that mixed around, and I'm going to give it a taste. And then we can add the pasta. This looks amazing. All right, let's test now for salt and pepper. And let's see how we did. That is really good. Oh, there is an earthiness to it, at the same time a sweetness to it. It's incredibly light, it's incredibly flavorful. Trying to decide if it needs anything else. Maybe a touch more salt. Just a touch. And I think we're good. So let's add in our pasta. And you could serve this and no one would even know that there were eggplants in here if you didn't tell them. You can't tell. And if you didn't have tomato powder, just throw in some diced tomatoes with the juice, some marinara sauce. I just wanted to use my tomato powder. And now we'll see how much of this pasta we can add in without overwhelming the vegetables. Maybe half of it, I think. And we'll just try to get that mixed around. I'm gonna turn the heat back on to heat the pasta back through with the sauce. And if there's room for more pasta, I'll add it, but if not, it's fine because that will get used in something else. I don't know if it's coming through on your end, just how incredible this looks, but it does look incredible and it smells so, so good. Yeah, I think that we will not add more pasta. So that was about a ½ pound of pasta. That looks fantastic. Maybe a little green garnish over the top for serving. It's gorgeous. I made rolls this week. I was trying out a new recipe in my bread oven, and the rolls themselves, they came out fantastic. Unfortunately, they don't have a whole lot of flavor to them, so we're trying to get through them, and then I'm gonna have to tweak the recipe because they're just very bland. But I'm sure that the sauce on here will help with that. Nice and hot, steamy pasta. I definitely want to take some of this thicker bits of the sauce with the vegetables in it. Oh, so good. That looks fantastic. You've got your pasta and your vegetables and a little side roll. Super simple, super delicious, and incredibly healthy for you. Let's give it a try.
I was really surprised how bland these rolls came out, considering that they are butter rolls. They are made with a lot of butter. If you have a really good dinner roll recipe, would you let me know? Maybe point me to it. I want to find one that just becomes a staple in my kitchens. All right, here we go for our taste test. That is really good. So light, so flavorful. A little bit of heat from a red pepper flake. I love that. Got some tomato and some eggplant here. That eggplant does not disappoint. Wow. I cannot say enough good things about eggplant. I absolutely love it. That's why I preserve so much of it at the end of every summer. Hopefully I'll get a really good harvest this year. That would be nice, but there's always the farmer's market. I'm definitely going to have to source peppers from the farmer's market this year. My peppers are abysmal. Yep, this is really good. So I think it needs a little pop, maybe of acid or something, maybe a little vinegar in here. It is definitely good just like this, but I think I can make this even better. So I'm probably going to tweak this recipe, play around a little bit. Here's more eggplant. So good. If you have not had roasted eggplant, and especially the long, skinny Asian varieties, do yourself a favor and give that a try. And the roasted eggplant side dish that I filmed last year on my channel, I'm telling you, that is a phenomenal flavor side dish. It is incredible. And I found that recipe on Pastagrammer's YouTube channel. Well, I'm going to go and finish my dinner. But thank you so much for joining me for my first tomato and first eggplant harvest of the 2025 growing season, and allowing me to show you how I whip up meals on the fly as things are coming in from the garden. My name is Kelly. You're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you come back and visit again soon.